Alright, carrying on. Last video probably wasn't exactly what I wanted it to be. I forgot to film a lot of stuff, and I kind of just filled you in with what I'd done rather than what I'm doing. So I'm moving on again now. This is obviously massively escalated past where what the original plan was. So in the last video you would have seen I've got all the rear end like cut out and raised up on this. I've got a lot more to do on this still. I've still got to cut the tubs out fully and assemble everything back on, weld the gaps in the floors after doing all that, and obviously put some tubs in. There's lots of little things that need doing on this along the way. Obviously I've still got to make an exhaust back on. I need to go full length because I didn't like, for some reason, I mean we've done downturns here on a lot of vans, but for some reason on this it put a lot of smoke into the cab. I don't know whether that's because it's just a completely uninsulated, unsound deadened van, so it finds gaps to get in or what, but so yeah, I've got to build a new exhaust all the way back to the back. Obviously fuel tank and everything's got to go back on. I'm probably going to raise this diesel cooler. As you can see, it's taken a bit of a beating over time. But in this week's episode, I've got this weekend on it. Now Friday evening, I'm about to get home. So I'll get started on this tomorrow. I've got to do the new subframe raise on this. So it was originally a 30mm subframe raise. That's not enough. We found that all the ball joints and the track rod ends are all bottom out on full drop, or nowhere near. It's not even close to full drop yet. So we've got to raise the subframe some more so that we can get better angle on all that and the drive shafts. But obviously that brings in new complications. But the new subframe is here. It's a 50mm raised one, so it's had to be sculpted out, the actual frame, so that it can all fit in there. This is well extreme. It's very unnecessary for most people, but on this we're going to need it. I've got to redo the notches. Now this is going to be the hardest part because obviously everything's already cut out and already welded up, and it's more difficult to do that than to actually start fresh, which is why you just need to take the drive shafts off so I can actually get to things. I'll get these all out of the way. That way I can get to these notches a bit better. I don't know what my plan is yet. I shall decide this in the morning, whether I just attack this with a grinder and try and cut this out all higher. I tried to just, as you see, I cut just the front out originally and hammered this section up to then weld it all back up, because obviously the drive shaft was at, you know, that angle, so it was only touching on this outer part. But with raising everything, obviously the drive shaft's going to be coming through a bit higher, so it is going to be at that angle, but it's probably going to hit more further back as well. So I need to notch the whole thing a bit higher. Obviously I've got to notch for this gearbox mount higher, and raise up this engine mount higher, makes it bigger raisers. I need to get new engine mounts because that one's completely shot to pieces. Yeah, that needs new. So I'm gonna go home, come back in the morning with a fresh head and get started on some of these notches. Let's go. This side gets a little bit more difficult. Driver's side is easy, within reason. I don't like re-notching things, but you know, to make it work. This side is a little bit more difficult because we have this gearbox mount, which has to mount up underneath. And obviously there's many shapes and stuff for this, so we haven't really found a good way to make a raised mount. So we have to notch quite a big section out of the chassis. As you see, obviously it's been done already. Now originally when I do these, I fire a hole saw straight through here, which opens that up. I can then cut this outer face and then put the reciprocating saw. I can put it through here and run all the way along to cut the back edge, because obviously it's a lot, I can't get a grinder in from this side because there's a gearbox now. So I don't quite know what I'm going to do right now. I guess I'll cut this section out first, like I've done on the other side. I've just done it instead of hole sawing and putting tube through. I cut more at an angle and put like 3mm plates in for a bit more strength. So yeah, I think I'll cut this section out first. Then I'll mark my 20mm up, but I need to go extra. Cut down, cut along, and then, I don't know, hopefully with this cut, hopefully I can get enough in there so that I can then get the reciprocating saw through and go along, make a nice clean cut. Alright, nice, that wasn't as painful as I thought it was going to be. Hot, sweaty, covered in grinding grip. But notches are done, so I'm just going to clean them up and run some like seam sealer around them. I got a new mount to go back on, so get that on. I got a new front mount as well. This I'm going to have to do, like trim some little bits off of this because they get quite, even on a 30mm raise, they're sort of just off underneath the radiator, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of trimming on that so that it clears the rad when it's up. So yeah, I'm just going to do them, clean them up and put some underseal on them. I've got raised that mount. I get subframe raised back on, subframe back on. Oh, pretty good so far for a Saturday. It's about 1:30. Keep going. Oh, before we carry on, if you got this far already, you'll have noticed I'm wearing a nice new hoodie. So we've got plenty of new stock on the website. We've got a whole load of new hoodies. This green is a cool colour. Obviously blue, grey. So there's plenty of new t-shirts and stuff in stock as well. So thank you for subscribing. If you fancy wearing a hoodie or something and supporting us even more, that'd be great. But for now, let's carry on with this video. Woo, okay. All seems good with the subframe. It's all bolted on. Everything seems to have clearance. I'm sure there'll be something crop up that will trip me over at some point, but it's on. So I need to put this down really and see if it's all got to where it's got to. Whilst your back was turned, I quickly cut them inner tub bits out. So let's see if you can see clearance for the. God, it's terrible in this low light. Anyway, yeah, clearance extra for the wheels. I'm just going to quickly throw the rear arms on, probably the rear bags and rear shocks on, all very loose, but on, so that I can chuck some wheels on, put some blocks of wood on the floor, and just drop it down, put a wing on, just so I can see where it's actually going to sit. I want to make sure I've cut enough out and everything, and you know, everything's as it should be, before we can progress. It's getting late, it's be about 5 Saturday night. So yeah, should do another hour or so, quickly get these rear arms on, wheels on, drop the floor, see where we're at. And then decide whether I'm coming in tomorrow to carry on, a bit tired. But, never mind. I can only drive the split screen as a daily for so long. Oof, what a lovely vehicle. Okay, so that's the end of today. Saturday done. Quite a productive day actually. Just turn some stuff off. Yes, quite a productive day. Still a lot of fettling to do, but quite happy with that. You know, we got some lows. We still. I think we're nearly sort of there. There's 3 blocks of wood under the tyre. There's 3 blocks of wood at the sill. So in theory, that's that. Now it's just filling in all the holes, putting everything back together, making it work. Oh well, tomorrow's another day. Alright guys. So it's Sunday. I ain't doing a full day. I ain't doing a lot really, if I'm honest. I've got just, you know, rear arms, camber put in, a little bit more trimming out the rear tubs, but not enough to be filming. So thanks for watching. If you don't already, please like and subscribe. Head over to the shop and grab yourself a hoodie or something. I'm gonna set up a discount code on there for YouTube. It'll probably be capitals YT1. Maybe not. I'll put a link code in here somewhere. Grab yourself a t-shirt or a hoodie. Be most appreciated so we can carry on doing this sort of crap. I'll catch you in the next video.